Welcome to Chicken Matter Talks. In today's educational documentary, we will explore the origin and history of the pumpkin hatch gamefowl bloodline, one of the most visually distinctive and historically discussed strains within the broader hatch family of poultry bloodlines. This video is created strictly for educational and historical purposes only. We focus on documented breeding history, strain development, physical characteristics, and responsible poultry management. We do not promote or encourage harmful or unethical activities. As with many traditional bloodlines, the name pumpkin hatch may represent slightly different variations depending on breeder and region. In this documentary, we aim to present balanced, transparent information while acknowledging natural variation across generations. Let us begin by understanding the larger hatch family. Understanding the hatch family. To understand pumpkin hatch, we must first look at the broader hatch bloodline family, which became widely recognized in American poultry breeding history. The hatch line traces back to breeding programs that emphasized structural strength, durability, athletic balance, consistency across generations. Over time, the hatch family developed into multiple substrains, often distinguished by color variations and minor structural differences. Some well-known hatch variations include yellow leg hatch, blue face hatch, green leg hatch, and pumpkin hatch. Pumpkin hatch is primarily known for its distinct pumpkin-colored plumage, which sets it apart visually from other hatch strains. Origin of pumpkin hatch. The pumpkin hatch bloodline is generally believed to have developed from hatch foundation stock that carried genes influencing red or pumpkin-toned feather coloration. Through selective breeding, certain breeders began stabilizing birds that displayed deep orange-red or pumpkin body feathers, balanced hatch-type structure, strong legs and upright carriage, athletic body proportions. Over time, these birds became recognized as a distinct strain within the hatch family and were referred to as pumpkin hatch. It is important to clarify that pumpkin hatch is not defined solely by color. Responsible breeders also maintain attention to structure, bone alignment, and overall balance. Development through selective breeding. Pumpkin hatch birds were developed through disciplined selective breeding practices. Breeders focused on maintaining consistent pumpkin-toned plumage, preserving core hatch structural traits, avoiding unnecessary dilution through excessive crossing, retaining predictable offspring characteristics. Color consistency requires careful pairing decisions across multiple generations. Without disciplined breeding, pumpkin coloration may fade or vary significantly. Because of this, maintaining a true-to-type pumpkin hatch line requires long-term commitment and detailed record-keeping. Physical characteristics of pumpkin hatch. Although individual birds may vary, pumpkin hatch gamefowl are commonly described as having medium to strong body frame, upright and alert posture, rich pumpkin or deep orange-red body feathers, darker tail and wing contrast, balanced leg alignment. The hatch influence is often seen in compact but powerful body structure, clean feather condition, efficient body proportions. It is important to note that lighting, diet, and environment can slightly influence feather tone, so color may vary in shade. Temperament and behavior. Pumpkin hatch birds are often described as energetic, alert, active in open environments, responsive to surroundings. However, temperament is influenced by several factors: genetic background, breeding discipline, handling and human interaction, housing conditions. Bloodline name alone does not determine behavior. Responsible care and ethical management are essential in shaping a bird's development. Difference between pumpkin hatch and other hatch variations. Pumpkin hatch is primarily distinguished by its coloration, but structural similarities remain with other hatch strains. For example, yellow leg hatch emphasizes leg color as a defining trait. Blueface hatch may highlight facial tone differences. Green leg hatch focuses on specific leg pigmentation. Pumpkin hatch stands out visually due to its warm pumpkin-toned plumage, yet it shares the hatch family's structural balance and athletic build. Transparency is important here. Some birds labeled as pumpkin hatch today may be hatch-based crosses with pumpkin coloration rather than pure preserved lines. Spread and regional adaptation. As pumpkin hatch gained popularity, it spread to different regions and even internationally. When introduced to new environments, birds adapted to climate differences, feeding systems, breeder goals. In warmer regions, birds may appear slightly leaner. In cooler climates, feather density may increase. Over decades, some regional variations emerged, which is natural in long-term breeding history. Modern status of pumpkin hatch. Today, pumpkin hatch remains recognized among poultry enthusiasts for distinctive feather coloration, hatch type structure, balanced proportions. However, maintaining a documented and consistent pumpkin hatch line requires accurate record-keeping, ethical breeding decisions, avoiding exaggerated claims, honest strain representation. Because of crossbreeding trends over the years, not every bird labeled pumpkin hatch carries identical genetics. Responsible breeders prioritize transparency. Importance of color genetics. Pumpkin coloration is influenced by genetic factors related to red feather pigmentation. Color intensity can be affected by selective pairing, line breeding, nutritional balance, environmental exposure. Understanding feather genetics helps breeders preserve the pumpkin tone while maintaining overall health and structure. However, focusing solely on color without structural selection can weaken overall quality. Balance is essential. Responsible and ethical poultry management. This documentary is strictly educational. Responsible poultry management includes providing adequate housing and ventilation, supplying clean water and balanced nutrition, practicing humane handling, monitoring health regularly, making sustainable breeding decisions. Preserving bloodlines should always align with animal welfare standards and ethical practices. Common misconceptions about pumpkin hatch. Misconception. 1. All orange birds are pumpkin hatch. Color alone does not confirm bloodline identity. Misconception 2. Pumpkin hatch is a completely separate family from hatch. Pumpkin hatch is a variation within the hatch family. Misconception 3. Older strains remain genetically unchanged. Over time, genetic drift and environmental influence naturally occur. Why pumpkin hatch remains relevant? Pumpkin hatch remains relevant because it represents visual distinctiveness, careful color stabilization, heritage breeding discipline, the broader legacy of the hatch family. It serves as an example of how selective breeding can shape both structure and appearance over generations. Lessons for modern breeders. Studying pumpkin hatch history teaches important lessons. Color must be balanced with structure. Long-term selection creates stability. Documentation preserves credibility. Ethical management protects heritage. Modern breeders benefit from understanding both the genetic and historical aspects of traditional bloodlines. Conclusion. The pumpkin hatch gamefowl bloodline developed from the broader hatch family through careful selection for pumpkin-toned plumage and balanced structure. Shaped by disciplined breeding practices and preserved through generations, pumpkin hatch remains a recognized part of poultry heritage. This documentary aimed to provide a clear, transparent, and educational overview of its origin and development while promoting responsible poultry management. Preserving accurate knowledge helps protect heritage bloodlines for future generations. Thank you for watching Chicken Matter Talks. If you appreciate educational poultry history content, like this video. Subscribe for more Bloodline documentaries. Comment which strain you would like us to explore next. Together, let us support transparency, ethical breeding, and poultry heritage preservation.